And it's one that resonates today as a question, is that who has a right to dwell in the land? Who has a right to dwell in the land of Canaan, as it's called at this time, as we're reading through the text. Abraham, the text is very clear. He purchases land in the land of Canaan. The Israelites have a proper right to dwell in the land, and that's something that is established there. Property ownership, real estate, these are all things that kind of have their foundings in the Torah, in which govern society and that govern our economic principles. And then we read about the first wedding ceremony or pursual of a wedding in chapter 24. And that was where I really chose to read. I love that passage where Yitzchak finds a bride. He doesn't find a bride, but Abraham's servant, we don't know what his name is. We think that this is probably Eliezer, based upon Genesis 15, which is significant because his name is never mentioned in chapter 24. And Eliezer, what does that mean, though? God is my helper. God is my helper, and God is the one that helps. And, of course, then Abraham takes on a new wife after Sarah dies. And the Haftorah, interestingly, the Torah doesn't mind calling us old. You know, they say you're not supposed to call somebody old, but the Torah doesn't mind saying it at all, right? It says it about several people. It always lets us know when somebody is getting. By the way, you know how when you're getting old? Anybody know how to know when you're getting old? When you go to the doctor and the doctor says, "Well, now, ma'am, at your age," or "Sir, at your age," that's how you know when you're getting old. Yeah. Well, you know how else you know when you're getting old? When you fall down and you wonder what else you can do while you're down there. You know, it's another way, right? So, but the Torah doesn't mind calling out somebody that's old. And in fact, so the sages chose to select 1 Kings as a companion to the text today because it says that David was old, right? And so he's giving his final. Actually, that's not until next week's Haftarah, I believe, where he gives his final charge to Solomon. But what do we read about? We read about somebody trying to take the kingdom by force. And you know, a lot of the narrative in the Torah is about seed and about who the proper child to be for the inheritance is. We've read about it last week, right? Who's supposed to be the one? Is it going to be Ishmael or is it going to be Isaac, right? And that's a major narrative. That's a major theme. And then, of course, who is going to be the rightful one to sit on the throne of David? And so it is today. Who is the rightful one to be the Mashiach? Who is the one that will be declared Mashiach? Will God's people, will the Jewish people recognize the proper one? There's been a lot of talks over the centuries about who the Messiah really is. And Scripture is very clear, and it gives us some parameters of the Messiah and where he has to be from.